So, this video is going to be me finishing reading what's left of Chapter 1 and probably part of Chapter 2, if I end up getting to it. It depends on how timing works out. This is Mexican hot chocolate. Take hot milk and these bars of dark chocolate that we got at the international aisle at the grocery store. Yeah, Kaylee buying it for me, and it was really, really cheap. It was like 98 cents. And you stick it in a blender, and you make this. And this is full of win and awesome and delicious. And so I recommend it to anybody. There will probably be some doggy good, fun, cuteness clips because, you know, I have them and my sister keeps asking for them. Hi, Brittany! I should stop drinking now but I can't. It's delicious. It calls to me. Ah. In Spooky Cup. Well, cute Spooky Cup. It's less spooky and more cute. I like cute spooky. Okay. Back to the reading. That wasn't her real name. I never learned it. I just called her Ghastly Edna because it seemed a proper witch's name. She was a grotesquely large woman, bear-like in proportions, with a pointed hat, a giant hook nose, and a long, thin face. Her skin, while not truly green, possessed a slick olive hue. Her nose even had a wart. Ghastly Edna's only flaw, witchly speaking, was a set of perfectly straight, perfectly polished teeth. The day I met Ghastly Edna changed everything, and I remember it well. The basement door opened. I scrambled the foot of the stairs to collect my daily meal. Instead, she came lumbering down. Her bulky frame clouded the light filtering behind her. She placed a calloused hand under my chin and smiled thinly. Yes, yes. You shall do, child. Ghastly Edna purchased me from my parents for a punny sum. I'm certain they were glad to be rid of their cursed daughter, and I honestly couldn't blame them. My new mentor whisked me away to her cottage in the middle of something forsaken woods, far from civilization. The first thing she did was clean me up. It took 6 long hours to wash away the accumulated filth of 18 years and cut the tangle of hair atop my head. When she finally finished, she stood before me, a small mirror, and frowned. No, no, no. I do not like this. I do not like this one bit. The effect this had on my self-esteem was immediate and crushing. I'd always known myself to be a hideous thing, yet Ghastly Edna was no prize beauty herself, and to evoke such a revolting turn could only mean that Nasty Larry's curse had really had its way with me. You're not an ugly child, she corrected. You're quite... Her long face squished into a scowl. Lovely. I had yet to dare look in the mirror for fear of being driven mad by my own hideousness. Now I chanced a sidelong glance through the corner of my eye. It was not the insanity-twisting sight that I expected, but I was still a far cry from lovely. What about these? I cupped the large fatty mounds on my chest. Those are breasts, Ghastly Edna said. They're supposed to be there. But they're so round. Firm, she sighed. That's how they're supposed to be, ideally. I found that hard to believe, but I wasn't about to argue with the person who'd rescued me from my solitary existence. And that bottom of yours, she mumbled. You could bounce a gold piece off of it. But the skin is pale, I offered, trying to please her. It's not pale, dear. Alabaster. She circled me twice, looking more disappointed with each passing moment. And I don't think I've ever seen quite that shade of green, or lips so soft and full. And your hair. I washed it with year-old soap, and it's still as soft as gossamer. She drew close and sniffed. And it smells of sunflowers. What about my teeth? They're not supposed to look like that. She checked my gums and teeth with her fingers. No, dear, you're quite correct. They're a tad too sharp. but that's not an obvious flaw. And besides that, they're nice and white. Good gums, too. The tongue has a little fork in it, but only if you're looking for it. She ordered me into a seat, still naked, slightly damp from my bath. Are you certain you spent all your life in that basement? I nodded. No exercise, dismal diet, dwelling in filth, and yet somehow you come out like this? Not even half mad, as far as I could tell. You mean I'm not cursed, ma'am? Oh, you are cursed, child. And undead. That much is certain. Curses come in many forms, however, and not all are as bad, especially death curses. It's tricky enough to cast a decent spell while you're still alive, but throwing one out as you're expiring requires a certain knack. Apparently the wizard who cursed your family was not as in control of his magic as he should have been. The undead parts came through, but that hideous element didn't quite make it. The magic must have had a better idea, as it sometimes does. She handed me a towel. Cover yourself, dear. I can't bear to look upon you anymore. I did as I was told. The thing about death curses, one really shouldn't employ them unless one feels they can pull it off. It just makes the rest of us look bad. She spent several minutes rocking in her chair, mulling over the situation. A dread fell upon me. I didn't want to be sent back to my cellar if I could help it. Given no other choices, I'd accept my fate. Now the universe was filled with other possibilities, and I didn't want to lose them. Ghastly Edna snapped up from her chair. Well, dear, the magic called me to you. Far be it from me to contradict it. Contract it. Yeah. Your loveliness just means that you'll have to work harder at your witchery. A handicap, yes, but not an insurmountable one. She peeled the wart off from her nose and said, false, darling. She winked. She proceeded to wipe the greenish makeup from her face to reveal that skin, while rough and haggard, was not especially hideous. She moved 6 layers of clothing to show that her hunch was nothing more than an illusion of well-placed fabric. She removed her hat, and I realized that Ghastly Edna was a large and ugly woman, but not at all witchly without her full outfit. We all need a little help, dear. You need far more than I. Now let me see what I have here that might help do the trick. She began digging through various moldy trunks filled with equally moldy clothing. My heart leapt with joy. Ghastly Edna spent the next 3 months acquainting me on the ins and outs of witchly wardrobe. Wearing just the right outfit was 50% of a witch's business, she explained. She was not exaggerating. It took a great deal of work to make one look as bad as was expected, especially for me, my mentor put it out, as afflicted a form most unsuitable for a witch. Once I'd mastered the art of looking witchly, she proceeded to teach me the black arts. Necromancy, demonology, the forgotten language of unspeaking things, and forbidden nature lore. The powers of magic that had drawn Ghastly Edna to me had not been mistaken, and in due course I mastered the craft of the witch. And for a while I was happy, until the dark day when they finally killed her.